Facebook Live shortly.
All right, hey, welcome to Drop Off Line Sports. I got one for you this morning here. Can you name this group? Let me turn it up for you.
Take my advice, you don't stand a chance. Freaks are so bad, they got their own bands. So if you want to live a nice, quiet life, do yourself a favor, don't come out at night.
Did you know this? I saw these guys in 1987 at Market Square Arena. Can you name them? These guys in 1987 at Market Square Arena. Oh, man, was it good, too. Brian, good morning. Hey, Kurt, good morning. I know Kurt's working downstairs at WIBC. Tyler is on board this morning, too. You can go ahead and jump on board. Again, can you name this? Heath says, getting your 80s rap on, Grandmaster Flash, while a good guess would be inaccurate, my man down in Bloomfield. It is not Grandmaster Flash. You okay if Thad leaves? Houdini, by the way. Kurt got it. It is Houdini. Ian, good morning, man. I miss you, Ian. Drop off line. It is Houdini. The Freaks come out at night. I saw Houdini at a Fresh Fest in 1987 at Market Square Arena with Dougie Fresh, Get Fresh Crew, Public Enemy, LL Cool J, and Eric B. and Rakim. And it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, the question about Thad, here's what's going to happen. Thad wants more years, right, on his contract. The Pacers may not want to give him that many years. So he's going to go out and see if he can get more years. I think the Pacers want him back, but I think the Pacers want him back on their terms, if that makes sense to you. Things probably will get resolved on this, I would bet. All that is just getting your agent to float this out that, hey, you know, I may end up sniffing around. If I were him, I'd sniff around too. This is going to be his last contract. So you got to go for as many years as you can on this final contract. So listen, the whole thing is absolutely non-surprising, guys. Non-surprising. I don't think it's the biggest of deals either. I honestly think that the Pacers could take it or leave it. I know a lot of people will be upset if he left, but I think the Pacers would probably take it or leave it, but I don't think it's a big deal. He's just doing this because this is going to be his last deal, so he's going to have to try and make something out of it, and we'll see where that ends up going. So that was the latest Thad Young. Thad Young, it was reported last night by Adrian Wojnarowski that Thad Young is considering opting out and using his player option to become a free agent, which if I were him, I'd probably do the same thing. Now, here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, wait a minute. You rip on Paul George all the time, and that's what Paul George was doing. No. What Paul George did, and this was from Kevin Pritchard, what Paul George did, and remember, I asked Kevin Pritchard this after the fact, after what I was heard. Paul George told the Pacers one thing, i.e., hey, I like what you're doing. Yeah, I could really play here. This sounds good. I really like the moves you're making. And then did something else. That's not benefiting them. That's a bunch of crap. All right. And then he floated out that he was just going to basically leave and really put them in a bad situation. So it's not even close. I mean, not even close to what Paul George did. You can't even compare the two. Thaddeus Young and Paul George. Little Roxy music right here for me, huh? But that's just all Thad's trying to do. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Chris Jackson. I'll get my good mornings in a minute. Matt Wardlow, good morning to you. Bill Kirsch is in. Mitchell Reed, good morning, John. Kurt Geralds Jr. had to look up to see who sang that song. You know he Shazammed that son of a gun, didn't he? Mitchell, you know he Shazammed it. Matt says, funniest rap song from back in the day is Still Not Funny by Run DMC. See, it's weird. I come from Greene County, and it was just like a small group of us that started listening to rap probably in about 1984, maybe. I remember hearing early Fat Boys. Certainly we were on the Run DMC thing early. Grandmaster Flash on that early, too. So, yeah, it was pretty funny. That was a good time back in the day. It was. He says, I don't listen to much of any of rap, so it was a shot in the dark. It's a good guess, though, man. Grandmaster Flash is awesome. That is a very good guess. All right. What else we got here? Good morning, Chris Tyler. Corey says, plus we actually like Thad and aren't tired of his act as opposed to Paul George. Well, Paul George, again, Thad's not putting the screws to the Pacers. Paul George put the screws to the Pacers and in turn put the screws to you. And those that always back him up and say that, oh, well, all he was doing, at least he did, full of crap. Absolutely full of crap. Steven writes this, good morning, Chris Tyler. If Thad leaves, does that move Sabonis into the starting lineup? I would assume if Thad leaves, they're probably going to do something free agency-wise. I'm just assuming that. So, which they may do something anyway. I mean, I think they're prepared for this. This is something we had talked about, that this is going to be his last contract situation, so the likelihood of him, trying to get something more than what we know right now. He's just trying to see what he can get out there. Bob Chambers, yes. Eric Seymour, good morning to you. Scott McGregor, good morning to you. All right, any other questions? Brian Foley is on board this morning. Brian, good morning to you. But that was the difference between the whole, when everybody says, well, it's just like it's not like what Paul George did. I mean, maybe in hindsight he didn't want to completely come off looking like he screwed the Pacers, but he did. And they were lucky enough, fortunate enough, savvy enough with Kevin Pritchard to get out of it and really look a lot better. Brandon Reef, good morning to you, my man. Matt says this, what do you think of Oliver Luck getting $20 million to run the XFL? I think that the XFL is incredibly serious about it this time, right? Back in the early 2000s, it was just kind of the wrestling show, the WWE show, more of the wrestling tip, but I think they're serious about it this time. This guy played last night at the Miral National Center. Who is it? Last night here in Indy. Brandon Reef writes this, I would like to see the Pacers go after Julius Randle if they can't keep Thad. I'd like Julius Randle too. We've knocked around, I think, a bunch the Julius Randle idea. Here's the idea. The idea is he's a free agent, and even with the type of season he had, especially in the second half in L.A., that L.A. is going to go so big that he is going to be expendable and may end up someplace else. And we have certainly knocked that idea around. Delvin says Jackson Brown, that is right. Heath Bartlett says Dr. My Eyes. Jackson Brown was in Indy last night doing a show at the Miral National Center. Jackson Brown was a part of what band originally, Heath? You got this one? What band originally? Matt Lennon says JMV's % guess that Luck will be ready for the regular season. I'm going on what I'm told, what the Colts say publicly, and how Luck is acting publicly. And I don't think there's any way in the world this dude is not going to be ready. BT Do, it is not the Beatles. Thank you very much. I don't think it's the Beatles, is it? I don't know. I just heard this on a Casey's Top 40 the other day. Bill says Poco. I don't think it's Poco either. I believe somebody may have to look this up because you guys are out there and my phone's right here. But I believe, right? Ooh, Atlanta Rhythm section. This is Yacht Rock right here. Sean, was he a part of the Eagles too? See, Matt, that's what I was thinking. Matt Lennon says Nitty Gritty Dirt Band for the win. It's Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. That's what I remember him as a part of. Bob Craig, good morning to you. We're brought to you by Bobcat of Indy this morning. BT Do, it is not the Beastie Boys. Thank you very much. It is not the Beastie Boys. Yeah, Sean, I think you're right.
Who used to do it?
I think Jackson Brown didn't write music for the Eagles. Belle Biv DeVoe. I saw Belle Biv DeVoe. Who else I see? Belle Biv DeVoe and Johnny Gill and Keith Sweat. Market Square Arena, 1990. 91 maybe. I did. Never trust a big butt and a smile. It's great advice. If you had to play one song, Poison or Do Me? Poison or Do Me? What do you got in the BBD collection? I've had all the BBD. I don't think I've had Ricky Bell on, but Bivens has been on before. Ron DeVoe has been on before. Johnny Gill's been on a number of times. These guys are awesome. Who opened up? Keith Sweat opened up. Good morning, Christopher. Keith Sweat opened up. Johnny Gill came on second, and then Bell Biv DeVoe came on third. I want to say it was either late 90 or early 91. And see, they could have all got together and just played some New Edition, but they just were sticking to their stuff right then. True story. Bill Kerr says PBS recently had a 50th anniversary show about the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I believe was Jackson Brown. Was it not Nitty Gritty Dirt Band right there? What do you got here? Caleb writes this. Good morning, Caleb Kid. Do you think Andrew Luck is already throwing and the Colts aren't saying anything about it? I don't think the Colts are going to be lying about it. I just think the Colts believe that everything is going to be okay once he starts throwing. He's going to be ready for the start of the season. Now, hey, listen, if it goes the other direction, then they probably lose a lot of fans, right? I mean, you go that far down the road and say that he's going to play, and if he doesn't and he's not ready, they're going to have a serious problem on their hands. I mean, a serious problem on their hands. Because right now, you have the trust of the fan base is very low. This would probably be the final straw for some, and at least for a long period of time for others. So it'd be tough to get through that. That's why I don't think you jeopardize it after last year at all. Jeopardize messing with the fans again. That's some Boston for you guys. So that's why I think my whole thing is, from what I hear, that he is going to be okay. They expect him to be okay. But, see, they expected him to be okay last year, and he wasn't okay. That's why there's no way in the world they do it again like that this year, because there's too much on the line to lose. You guys get what I'm talking about? I mean, you lose everything, everybody. Maybe forever, but certainly for a long period of time. Nobody around you is going to believe you again if he's not ready. And after last year, I just don't think there's any way. I mean, and the Colts, have said they expect everything to be fine and him to be back. Andrew Luck is out in the public. I mean, last year when he was shut down, remember? He was shut down in November. Guy got the hell out of Dodge and went to the Netherlands. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, listen, I know I'm right there with everybody that says I got to see it with my own eyeballs. I completely agree with you on that, but I don't think they're going to jeopardize the future. Hip Hugger says your boy Cato Kalin had a bad night last night. I didn't see what happened to Cato. Hip Hugger, you're always up, man, with the latest information. What happened to Cato Kalin last night? I do love this song, though. Brian Foley writes this: if no luck on opening day, maybe a few more go to the Brickyard. Or maybe not. Brian Swafford, did you see the interview with Dennis Rodman when he breaks down and cries over the North Korean deal? I didn't see it, but I heard about it on social media. Yeah, he cried on CNN. Yeah. Hip Hugger's talking about the Brewers. Now, the Brewers lost in extra innings to the Cubs last night. What was hey, Hip Hugger, I asked this the other day. If I were to give you 97 wins over under, would you take the over or the under on the Cubs right now? 97. Rodman. Bob Chambers, who's the top 3 high school basketball players of your era? Where does Romeo Langford fit in? Well, it depends on how far. I mean, listen, I grew up sandwiched right between the greatness that was Marion. I mean, Jay Edwards and Lyndon Jones on Purple Rain. I mean, Purple Rain from 85 to 87 was incredible. I'm just talking about, when I'm in junior high and I'm in high school. All right, late elementary, Scott Skiles, incredible, okay? Then you had Purple Rain, and see, I remember, everybody remembers Jay Edwards and Jay Edwards and Lyndon Jones and Derek Keys, but you forget about what started all that in Marion was LaFon Bowens and Jay Teagle. Is it Jay Teagle, I think was his name? I think he went to Illinois State. He was about 6'10". LaFon Bowens was a versatile 6'5" guy. The Purse Singers were all a part of that. The Marion 3-year dominance was incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. Then you had Damon Bailey and Damon's years. See, Damon, made it to the state finals, in 87 as a freshman, and then got back and won it in 1990. 1988, I've never seen a greater individual performance than 1988, and it was basically a dunk-off between Sean Kemp and Chandler Thompson. Most amazing stuff I've ever seen. Seriously, most amazing stuff. And there's my trash man's out there right now. Well done. But I've never seen, it was like incredible dunk after incredible dunk. 1988, Market Square Arena. Concord loss to Muncie Central. But look at Chandler Thompson and Sean Kemp. It was incredible. So he says, for me, it's Brody Boyd and A.J. Graves. Yeah, there's no doubt. So those are probably the ones that I remember the most, because you had such a dominant era, 80, 85, 86, 87 from Marion, 88, Muncie Central. 89? Who was 89? LN? LN was 89? Hey, I could do this anytime. 90, Damon. So right in there, probably. Steve Alford was another guy that basically did anything he wanted to. So there you go. Jennifer says, JMV on the Neighborhood Watch. I watch everybody. I gotta get out here and mow too, and it's too damn wet right now. Here we go. All right, another trivia question. You guys ready? What film reintroduced the world to this song? Speaking of Kool the Gang, Kool the Gang is going to be playing at the State Fair. That was just announced today. I saw Kool the Gang open up for Van Halen years ago. Kool the Gang is still pretty awesome. Robert Kool Bell has been on with me before too. Awesome. Pulp Fiction, indeed. Remember the start of Pulp Fiction? When you have, you got, it was the, I think it was the, what was the conversation about? The Royale with cheese, right? The Royale with cheese conversation. And they're searching through the radio stations and Jungle Boogie. This is probably my favorite Kool the Gang song of the collection. Let me give you a top 5 Kool the Gang real quick. You guys ready? Number 5, Open Sesame. Look that up. Open Sesame. Open Sesame. Number 4, Ladies Not... No. Number 4, Emergency. No. I don't know if I like this one. No. I'm sorry. Number 4, Ladies Night. Number 3, Get Down on It. Number 2, Celebration. And number 1, Jungle Boogie. How about that? 5 right there, just off the top of my head. What do you guys think? Top 5, Kool the Gang right there. Hollywood Swingin' I left off of it. That's Hollywood Swingin's pretty good. Open Sesame is on the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever. Check it out and tell me what you think. I like Fresh. I like Emergency. I like Too Hot. It's too hot, too hot. Ooh, that Too Hot's good too. I'm more 70s, early 80s Kool the Gang, right? 5. Nobody else going to give you 5 Kool the Gangs off the top of their head right there. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Joanne. Oh, I can't give you Joanna. Joanna. Joe. Stone, what is it? Stone Love? No. Is that Stone Love? Is that a Kool the Gang too? Some people call me the space cowboy. We gave away tickets for this yesterday. Some call me the gangster of love. Here, this is a trivia question yesterday. You ready? Listen, hear it. Listen to this line. Listen. I speak in the pompatus of love. You ready? Steve Miller in the Steve Miller Band wrote, I speak in the pompatus of love. Does anybody out there know what that means? This was my trivia question for Steve Miller Band and Frampton tickets yesterday. Because I speak in the pompatus of love. Good morning, Kurt. Misled is really solid, too. I left that out. Does anybody know what that means? Because I speak in the pompatus of love. What do you got? Playing the music in the sun. Let's see. You guys don't have my question? Because I speak in the pompatus of love. Yeah, fresh is pretty good too. Daniel Simpson writes this. What do you call a Whopper? I don't know. I didn't go to Burger King. Pulp Fiction. Royale with cheese. Jennifer said, and bring the star of the show along too. Yeah, star of the show, by the way, I'm sorry I didn't announce this at the beginning. She's at Grandma's today. She'll be back, I think, on Wednesday is when she's going to be back. She got a couple of baseball games this week. But yeah, the star of the show is at Grandma's. Will be back this Wednesday. All right. Joni Lee, Barbara Jean and Joni Lee got it. Because I speak in the pompatus of love means absolutely nothing. It was in the song. They put it in the song because it fit. Matt Lennon, good call. Pretty sure that it had no meaning. They just made it up. They just made it up. How about that, huh? Means nothing. How about that? You know what? I don't know about anybody else out there, but I like music trivia. I mean, I like music trivia 90s, 80s, 70s. I don't go past that. But if you listen to old AT-40s with Casey Kasem, you will learn so much. I forgot how much you learned just listening to that. So there's a channel on iHeartRadio that plays nothing but old American Top 40s. And they'll play them from the 70s and the 80s. They'll bounce back and forth from the 70s to the 80s. You got to check it out sometime. You learn so much. And plus, even if, you know, what they talk about, if the records have been broken or if what he says is no longer actually true, it's interesting to think of yourself at that time and say, wow, that's what was going on then. It was awesome. So it's iHeartRadio, American Top 40. It's just nonstop, commercial-free, American Top 40. Check it out. It is awesome. Jennifer says, yes. American Top 40 was a plethora of trivia. That's where, back in the day, man, that's where unless you were reading, like, magazines, right? Music magazines, that's where you got all your info. I remember getting info back in the day, seriously. Music magazines, the back of albums. Remember when some of the albums would have lyrics? If you bought albums, they would have the lyrics. That's how you knew the lyrics back then. Seriously. Or American Top 40. Scott Sargent, good morning to you, my man. Heath Bartlett says Springsteen originally wrote Blinded by the Light. Revved up like a deuce, right? All right, what else we got here? This is Genesis, by the way. Follow you, follow me. Bill Kerr says America's Top 40 shows are actually available on vinyl. Well, that's how they came back in the day, too, you know, Bill? That's how they used to send, like, American Top 40 to radio stations. They would mail them on vinyl, and the guy that was running the board at the time would just, you know, put the needle down, and they'd run all the way through, run the commercials in between. That's how they were all played off of vinyl, and then they went to a CD. Like, I have a collection. I don't know where they are right now. They might be in my building out here. I have a collection of, remember hot mixes from the 90s? This company would make, and they still make them today, they would call Hot Mix, and these were all hot mixes from 1990, and they're pretty awesome too. So they basically give you 30 minutes a pop of mixed up music, and they send it to you, and you'd play it on a DVD. I've got, when I worked at B97 early, I had a bunch of those. They're still around here someplace. I just have to find them. I don't know where the hell they are, but they're around here for sure someplace. Be mixed up like this. Can you guess who this is? What do you guys got? I love playing music trivia with you guys. I saw these guys in concert 2 years ago, and they're still really good. 80s band, Initials. What do you got? Good morning, David Byer. Good morning, Gary Hudson. Delvin got it. OMD. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. This Dreamin'. They had like 3, 4, I think, notable songs. If You Leave was probably their most popular, If You Leave. Dreamin' was one of them. No, it was a good show, man. These guys put on a really good show. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Pretty in Pink was the soundtrack from If You Leave. See, Matt says If You Leave was a great song, man. Their most popular Easy of all time. But they had about 3 or 4 noted songs. I saw these guys on stage. They were on stage. I think Howard Jones was a part of this too. It was pretty cool. Daniel, did you see them too? It was summer before last. Actually, I saw, who did I see? OMD, Howard Jones, and I think they were with the Bare Naked Ladies. And I think Howard Jones went on stage and sang No One Is to Blame with Bare Naked Ladies at the end. But these guys, Howard Jones, and then the next night, we drove to Chicago to Ravinia Fest, and saw Chic and Duran Duran. It was pretty good, man. Duran Duran's pretty good in concert, too. That's the first time I'd ever seen them. So I'm slowly but surely adding stuff to my list. Like David Byrne, I just wanted to see a couple of Talking Head songs performed the other night. It was a great show, but I wanted to see Once in a Lifetime, Burning Down the House. There were some others I wanted to see that they didn't play, but yeah. Anyway, OMD right here. All right, any other questions before I go? I'll let you in on some of the info regarding Thad today. A little bit more. We'll talk, I'm sure, Colts today. NBA offseason, we'll talk later on today as well. I might hit on the Cubs and the Brewers from last night to go extra innings. That was pretty interesting, too. But here's the big thing of the day. I'm going to give you guys a taste. I'm going to give you guys a taste of college football, which you'll be excited about. We want the summer to stay here. I don't want the summer to go anyplace. But college football, Phil Steele has the best college football magazine known to man. Phil Steele's going to join us later on today. I think Phil Steele's on today. I think Trey Lyles of the Nuggets on today, the former Mr. Basketball, and somebody else. It might be Holder. We might be talking some football and NFL with Holder. I think it's Holder, Trey Lyles, and Phil Steele on the show later on today. Phil Steele is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So if you guys have any college football questions, from Hunter Johnson transferring, the former Mr. Football from Brownsburg, from Clemson to Northwestern, if you want to know about Purdue and year 2 of Jeff Brom, if you want to know about IU and Tom Allen, if you want to know about Nebraska and Scott Frost, I mean, anything else you want to hit with the Big Ten or across the country, Phil Steele is the guy. We talked to him later on today, which is always awesome. Brian Foley writes this: Burning Down the House, Revenge of the Nerds, Fireball, Fireball, Fireball. That's when they burned down. That's when the football players burned down their frat house and then kicked all the nerds out of the dorms, right? Yeah. Chad asked me this: did you see how the Auburn-Florida game ended last night? Yeah, that was bad. Walk-off home run by a Florida guy who hit one out to right field, and the guy in right field for Auburn went back on it, put his glove up, and bounced off the fingers of his glove for a home run. Seriously. Bounced off the fingers of his glove for a home run. Darnell wants to know this: ask Phil Steele if Notre Dame will win 10 games this year. Is Brian Kelly on the hot seat? Brian Kelly's always on the hot seat. All right. Hey, got to run. Thank you. Watching Drop Off Line Sports, brought to you by Bobcat of Indy. Thank you very much, Bobcat of Indy, guys. My man Brian Crow with Joe and Shade over there and Chris. You guys are awesome. Bobcat of Indy. I've got Steve Miller Band tickets later on today. What else do I have? Social Distortion coming to the Mirage in October. Tickets for that later on today. And I got something else I can't think of that's pretty good too that I'll give away later on today. But to all that and more, again, later on today after 3, Phil Steele, Trey Lyle, Stephen Holder, all on the show today. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching Drop Off Line Sports. The Stars at Grandma, she'll be back later on this week. I'll talk to you later on today at 3. Remember, Backyard Bourbon Broadcast, Evan Williams, Connecticut, Wings, etc. We draw on Friday. I'd love to party in your backyard. We bring all the food, all the drink, and the show to your backyard. Sign up now, 1070thefan.com. Have a great day.